In this video, we will create an interesting table and try to make the most realistic depiction of a human eye out of epoxy resin. But there will be no shortage of reworks, mistakes and failures along the way. You have to see this. Enjoy watching. To avoid messing up and getting the proportions wrong, a model was created beforehand, and based on that, we cut out the necessary templates. To imitate the pupil, we cut a circle out of black acrylic, and for the base, we use 8mm plywood. Don't pay attention to this engraving. This plywood is left over from an old project. If anyone can guess which one, let me know in the comments. I tape around the edge of the tabletop. In cases like this, it's better to use good, more expensive tape. It's easier to buy it at auto paint supply stores. Actually, this is the simplest way to make a formwork. If the resin is thick and the layer is thin, then this kind of formwork is the best option. Next, we fit the pupil and slightly round off the edge so that there isn't a sharp border after pouring. A couple of drops of glue, and now the acrylic glass definitely won't float away during the pour. For the first layer, I use the thickest resin. This mixture is called extra honey, and I generously tint it with white pigment. As you can see, this layer is very thin, something like a primer. It's meant to seal the plywood, add color, and check the entire formwork for leaks. And it handled all three of these tasks perfectly. And the next day, once the resin had cured, I sanded it with 240 grit sandpaper. For the next step, I decided to create an imitation of capillaries. To do this, I tinned the resin with red pigment and, little by little, tried to draw them with a toothpick. The idea is that they should be three-dimensional and later encased in semi-transparent resin. And in theory, it should look realistic. But that's just in theory. Short, I spent half a day working on them, poured in the tinted resin, and realized that I wasn't satisfied with the result at all. To make the iris, I take the ring we cut out at the very beginning of the video and glue it on in the same way as the mold for the pupil. Then we pour in the same extra honey resin and start painting the iris. During the process, the resin started to seep out from under the mold, because the hot glue left a large gap, and as a result, most of the resin leaked out. Plus, there was also a problem with the capillaries, so I made a firm decision to start over, this time taking the mistakes into account and having at least some experience. Everything is the same with the first layer, but now I put the mold on a good layer of sealant. Once the sealant dried, I trimmed off the excess and removed it. And once again, I get to work on the iris. To make the image look more three-dimensional, I decided to pour it in several stages. The first two layers are white streaks on a black background, which I tried to control. The following layers will be colored. As you can see, after adding the colored resin, the image starts to look more and more like a real eye. As a result, after the colored layer, we get this outcome. After the colored layer dried, I decided to add a bit more depth, and, as a result, another layer of resin. Then came a series of unsuccessful experiments. Basically, I made a mess and decided to remove it before the resin dried. But I did leave a few successful streaks. And now, let's remove the mold and clean up the traces of the experiments. I carefully trimmed the sharp, uneven edge left by the mold to create a smooth transition. Now I need to bring everything to the same level. For this I use a product called Crystal Epoxy from Artline. After looking at dozens of different photos of eyes, I realized that there are often dark spots on the iris. That's what I'm trying to imitate. At the end, I gently stretch the resin so that there isn't a sharp edge. And now we move on to the most interesting part. I met the surface and hand the piece over to the artist. Many thanks to Lina for her help and participation in the project. Here's her Instagram, there are lots of interesting works there. So be sure to check it out. the paint has set, I coat the entire tabletop with a clear glossy varnish so that the paint doesn't stain the final layer of resin, and leave it like that for a day. The next day, once the varnish has dried, we remove the pupil's formwork so as not to erase any traces of sealant or paint. I tint a bit of epoxy black and use it to hide all the imperfections. Here's a little life hack from Sanya. Feel free to use it. Once the resin in the pupil has set, we put a final clear layer of the same resin over the entire tabletop. And this is the result we get. Personally, I'm satisfied with the result. But your opinion really matters to me, since these videos are made specifically for you. Honestly, I even feel a bit awkward turning this into a table, because I think it's a complete work of art. But since I promised a table, I am attaching the legs, and now you can judge the results. According to the channel's statistics, half the views come from people who aren't subscribed. So check if you have the bell enabled, and if you're interested, take a look at my Instagram. There, I post projects that won't appear on YouTube due to their format. Thank you for watching, and wishing you all the best. May your eggs stay sharp.